Welcome to episode 40 of the MMG podcast. I am Chris, and I'm joined yet again by my good friend, Go Cubs 711.
Chris, do you know what an accent is?
An accent?
An
Like,
accent?
like, like an axis? Or like
Accent.
I don't believe so. What is an accent?
I'm trying to figure it out because we could be in a lot of danger because the Browns just fired a pretty huge accent.
Welcome everyone to the 40th edition of the MMG podcast. This is what you get after 40 episodes. This is the high quality fucking jokes that we have here. God damn. Well, but I will say this though. You were given permission to have something as rancid as that joke, for as creative of a joke that or creative of a Halloween costume that you were going as this year.
Yeah.
If you would like to share that with the pod.
Oh yeah. I'm dressing up with a cat ears and tail, and then in a suit, and I'm going as Fancy Feast.
Which I thought
None of my friends appreciate except for Chris.
I absolutely appreciate it. The thing is, really bad puns, they do get to me, but the only times I really allow it, it's strange, but it's when it comes to Halloween. I
Yeah.
love punny costumes. I think they're excellent. I did
Awesome.
unfortunately did not have a punny costume this year, but those are usually something I would try to lean towards. Fancy Feasts was very I was very sad I never thought of that one. That was very good.
But you don't appreciate the accent joke.
Not in this. I think in this instance this was. Let's move on.
Chris, did you know that Hugh Jackson's have Sugundies?
What? What are you talking about?
These have Sugundies.
Oh no, I'm not even gonna repeat that.
Sugundies nuts. Let's move
Yeah,
on.
yeah, come on. Like at that once you said it the second time, I was just like, oh, now I know what you're doing. Anyways, welcome back. So yeah, 40 episodes. When we do our 50th episode, by the way, it'll be in the divisional round. I did the math today. It'll be our divisional round of this season. But we have a long ways to go for that. Big episode today. We're gonna recap last week. We're gonna go through some news items. We're gonna do look at the trade deadlines that came and went today, and of course we'll go into our predictions, and of course we'll do some fantasy stuff as well. But we're gonna start with the game of the week, and that was Packers at the Rams, which many I think people thought would be among the games of the week going into this week. And the Los Angeles Rams struggled out of the gate against the Packers, and a lot of it had to do with the defense of the Packers doing a relatively good job at keeping the Rams at bay. Blake Martinez himself, the linebacker for the Packers, was having a relatively nice game, but it all kind of came to a head because the Rams ended up having a nice raging comeback, and they were able to they were able to take the lead, and then when it seemed it was 29-27, and it seemed like we were going to see another one of these magical Aaron Rodgers comebacks, but Ty Montgomery, apparently according to reports, threw a fit on the side of the field, and then when he was called to bring back the ball to come back with the ball to be a kick returner, instead of going with the game plan that they talked about, which was kneeling in the end zone, he decided, hey, I'm gonna run this out, and he did so, and then fumbled the ball and gave the ball back to the Rams, and Todd Gurley was able to ice the game on a first down later in that Rams drive. And that is the story of the Los Angeles Rams right now. They are that they are a very, very good team, but they do need some luck sometimes. And Ty Montgomery absolutely gave it to them in this game.
Yep.
And
I mean,
yeah.
to be fair, they still could have stopped a Rogers miracle.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Like,
I'm not gonna say that if that wasn't the case.
yeah. Obviously, like, the Rogers miracle is probably like 70% guaranteed, but it wasn't all because of Ty Montgomery. Like,
Right. I think a lot of people were assuming that Aaron Rodgers would just go out there and do what he usually does, and that's fine. I mean, he had a good game, and it wouldn't be any surprise if he did end up going down the field, but. Right, anything can happen when we'll never know what those last few moments of the game were going to be like if, let's say, Ty Montgomery does not make the bonehead error that he did. But it shows that this Packers team, despite its lack of talent, is going to put up a fight. And I think that's going to be the case with any of these games, especially with when you have number 12 at quarterback. And like I said, the Rams, they while it wasn't the perfect game for them, they're gonna have some ugly games like this. They're still 8-0, and they're still looking really good going into what should be their toughest test of the season to date, of course, as they will be taking on the probably the second best NFC team in the Saints this weekend.
yep.
And of course, the Packers will be taking on Tom Brady and the Patriots. That will be a good one.
Just a lot of high profile matches among some of these teams.
We may be talking about the quarterback matchup for Packers Patriots. I don't know.
Yeah,
we know. We'll see. Blowout of the week goes to Dolphins and Texans. This was tied with the Patriots and Bills, but I decided, I don't know, the Dolphins and Texans I think are more interesting than the Patriots Bills right now. And the Texans are currently on a 5-game winning streak. They're getting hot when it matters right now. And they hopefully they'll peak too early because obviously you don't want to not make the playoffs at this point. You want to be able to be right now they're the favorites of the AFC South and they're looking good. They played a close game with the Dolphins at first, but then they kind of just took care of business near the end of the game and really took it home. But Brock Osweiler could not get his revenge on his former team. And the unfortunate news with the Texans from this game was that Will Fuller is out for the season with a torn ACL.
Which is super unfortunate because that guy has a lot of talent. All Will Fuller does is catch touchdowns. But unfortunately, hasn't had the best injury luck.
Yeah, he's been in and out, and I think that his speed is gonna be missed more than anything right now for that team. And we'll talk about what they did today to maybe help their wide receiver class a little bit. And though I still think they're going to miss the speed, I do think that they are. I think that they're going to still be a contender. I think if you look at this team with how well the offensive line's been playing, which was really their Achilles heel for most of the season, that this team is going to be tough to beat now, and it's going to be. I think it's really all around very, very good.
Yeah.
So I mean, and hopefully the momentum carries over week to week. As for the Dolphins, it's looking like their kind of miracle start to the season has kind of caught up to them a bit. But the Texans now take on the Broncos on Sunday. The Dolphins take on the Jets. And last but not least, the team chaos of the week goes to the Seattle Seahawks as they go into Detroit and beat the Lions. So much so that the Lions went from being buyers at the trade deadline to sellers. Once again, we'll talk about that in a little bit. But the Seahawks absolutely proved that they are still the Seahawks despite having none of the star power that they used to have. It was a typical Seahawks day, and the offensive line is actually good for the Seahawks, and it shows with the performance of Chris Carson at running back, which once again begs the question: why the fuck did they draft Rashad Penny for the
Right.
first round? That was bizarre.
Still doesn't make sense.
But you know, maybe things will turn around. Maybe Penny will have a great second year, will become the starter, and the rest will be history. But right now, it's looking a little weird.
Yep.
And Lions, yeah, a lot to talk about with the Lions. I think I'll save most of my comments again for when we talk about the trades. But this team seemed like, you know, it was about to break out. It was about to kind of, you know, get some wins under the belt. But now it could look like they'll be they might be the bottom of this NFC North group.
Yeah.
When it's all said and done. Most surprising team, go Cubs. You go ahead and start on this one.
My most surprising team goes to the Arizona Cardinals. I thought that this was going to be the bottom team in the NFC West this season. And it probably would have been if Jimmy G was still around. But in this case, Arizona has 2 wins against their sucky counterpart now. And probably won't be last in the division.
Yeah.
Surprising that they were able to come back. Larry Fitzgerald's still doing his thing, I believe.
He was very much in. He was at Hall of Fame level in that game.
I think that especially after the firing of Mike McCoy, being able to spread David Johnson around more, and the future star power of Josh Rosen and Christian Kirk, the Cardinals are going to be a good place next year.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 years.
Nice plug for your NBC show.
What?
You said The Good Place.
Oh, The Good Place, yeah.
I
don't know if they're going to The Good Place. That's a whole other debate.
That's slightly morbid. Anyways, Larry Fitzgerald had a great game, and yeah, I mean, the Cardinals, they're more talented, I think, than people give them credit for because of the fact that they would have such a shitty start to this year. I mean, there's still holes. I mean, the offensive line is absolute garbo, but the defense is doing a really good job and this year. And I think, like you said, you know, they use David Johnson in a lot more ways than Mike McCoy was. And I think that's kind of helped him have his best game of the year to this point. And yeah, Larry Fitzgerald had a good game. I think Josh Rosen overall, he could have played like a little bit better, but you know, he's a rookie. I don't want to give him too much slack.
Yeah.
And yeah, the Niners, it's a dumpster fire now for them. What we saw on Monday Night Football when they played the Packers, when they played a really close game with them, I don't know if that was just an anomaly or if that was if the Packers are just, you know, just play close with every team. I don't know. It's just it's a weird thing to me to think about. But yeah, I'm higher on the Cardinals now than I was maybe a few weeks ago. My most surprising team was the Carolina Panthers, and all right.
Oh yeah.
I do this every week. I'm like, all right, I'll believe in the Panthers, and I'm like, well, they play this team. I don't know if I want to pick them. But once again, I eat crow, and it's okay. The Panthers, they absolutely dominated the Ravens.
I'm telling you, like, great defense as always. Norv Turner really turning particularly Cam Newton and Christian McCaffrey's path around in terms of how they are as players. Mm-hmm. Greg Olsen is as reliable as ever. This is a good team, and this team, with some luck thrown their way, could make a Super Bowl push.
They could, and you know, you look at what happened on Sunday with Torrey Smith was out. It gave room for DJ Moore to start, and let's remember a few weeks ago when they played the Redskins, how you had DJ Moore fumbled those like two footballs, and it was not fun for him, and it would put a little bit of like a bad spotlight on him in future weeks. But then since that game, they haven't lost since, and he has since gotten much better. His speed is such an improvement for this team, and I'm not Torrey Smith. He's a good player, but he's not. DJ Moore has made this Panthers offense, which in times has looked slow in recent years. It made them look very fast, and that's what's gonna kind of help them beat teams a lot more. And the defense, yeah, like you said, I think you got a good group. I think especially the front seven continues to be their strength. The secondary, I
Yep.
would really like to see more improvements there, but it's a good team.
Yeah. Also, if you just find a video of Christian McCaffrey's receiving touchdown from that game, because it's just a wild play.
Yeah, I believe I saw it on Sunday. I'm drawing a blank right now because I didn't see the entire game,
Yeah.
but I thought I saw it. But yeah, and look, you got a running back in Christian McCaffrey that is starting to look like the guy that you drafted high in the draft. So
Yep. He's doing what he did in Stanford.
right.
He's doing everything, and
Exactly.
it's working for them.
Absolutely. And I am all aboard the Panthers now. I no longer doubt them. They are making
I,
a they're
I
making
will admit they play much better at home than on the road,
yes,
which is something to note.
that is true. And I would do I think I would still like to see them continue. The thing is they beat two quality teams in a row. And to me that's a big ass deal. I think
Yeah.
their next big test for them in the coming weeks. I don't know who else they have to play. I mean, I know they're gonna have to play the Steelers next week, which
Yep.
I still have to get a good read on the Steelers really. But I think the big test for me would be to see them play the Saints. We have to wait till week 15 for that.
Yeah, that is
Um,
going to be like I don't know if that will be division deciding, because I don't know be at that point.
yeah.
Probably still better than the Panthers, but man, that week 15 to 17 for the NFC South is going to be a trying time.
It's a very yeah. It's gonna be close, and I think right now instead of it being like the three-way race now, it does look like it's gonna just be between the two teams though. So that's at
Yep.
least a relief. I I don't see the NFC South. I don't see the playoffs NFC playoffs this year not being with the Saints and Panthers at this point.
Yeah.
I'd be very
Right
surprised.
now, right now I'm thinking it's going to be the Rams. Well, we'll do this prediction, but it'll be two teams from the north, two teams from the south.
I agree because I don't see. I mean, unless the Seahawks make a incredible push, and
Or Eagles and Washington are like high up there too.
yeah, I don't know.
It's like there feels like around like two teams in every division right now that in the NFC that could make the playoffs if they pushed.
Yeah, I would say that's a fair argument. Um, yeah, it's good. It's really good. And speaking of NFC, I'll move on to my most disappointing team, and I'll go Vikings. And it's just they lost to the Saints, and it's no shame in losing to the Saints. Um, but this was a grand opportunity for them, not only to kind of maybe you know get a better lead in the NFC North, but also beat this right now one of your toughest competitions in the conference, and to lose to them now you're not probably won't get a bye if as long as the Saints and Rams keep on winning, and
You
now
lost to your biggest competition.
say again one more time.
They lost to their biggest competition.
Yeah, and then they lost to the Rams, they lost to the Saints, and now you have the Bears who right now are in front of the Vikings. Of course, only by a half a game, but even with
Still a
that
game.
even with that being said, it is difficult to now be in that situation now. They have not played the Bears yet. They're going to need to prove they're going to need to beat them. They're going to need to beat the Lions, and they're probably going to have to beat the Packers since the last time they tied. So,
Yep.
um,
Can you imagine if Week 17 Bears Vikings decided the division?
I it's possible. I think it's a very
That would
strong
be
possibility.
wild, dude.
I think the Bears are on the. I did put them on the most surprising because I was
Yeah.
like,
Well, it was against the Jets
they
this
play the
this
Jets, but I think they're on the rise too. The NFC North is an enigma right now. I have no idea what's going to happen in that division.
Yeah.
All I feel a bit more certain about right now is I don't think the Lions will make the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's
I
the
mean,
that's the only thing though. What about your most disappointing team?
my most disappointing team is going to be the opposite of your surprising team. That is the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
We've been saying, the Panthers are a lot better than I think a lot of us decided
Mm-hmm.
or thought initially.
Yeah.
But man, it didn't seem like from the bits of the game that I saw that the Ravens were really doing much to like uh try and stop them. I don't know.
Yeah.
It they are in a really tough AFC North race right now with the Bengals and Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
And going with your number one rush defense, at least as of last week, number one rush defense in the league. Um, Not being able to stop the rush, and then also like all the passing that has happened.
Mm-hmm.
There's some issues going on there.
Yeah.
So I think the Ravens will get it together, but I still wanted to see more from them. I thought this was going to be a closer game than it was.
Yeah, I mean, considering how they looked, I mean, this is why I picked them to win because I was thinking they played so close with the Saints that they were so close to forcing overtime until a like once in a generation like kick was missed by Justin Tucker.
Yeah.
It was like he never misses kicks and he missed it. And of course, in this game he did have a much better game in this one.
Yeah.
Even though he didn't kick too much, but to have this game to go into Carolina and to lose the way you did, I think it's gonna be tough. But I think part of it is that they're gonna have to adapt to the fact that their defense is not going to be able to stop all these offenses all the time.
Yep.
Yeah, we're in a league right now that simply is going to be just so dominant on offense, and you have to get it together on offense to fix the situation.
The offense mindset is changing so much.
Mm-hmm.
And defenses I don't think are ready or aren't adapting as quickly as offenses are. So when you get these defenses like Jacksonville or like Chicago right now that like are able to do things and like and be successful when the offenses are changing so much, when all these rule changes are like frankly making it harder for the defenses to do their thing.
Yeah.
It is gonna be hard for them to adjust, and why this season just in general I think is so high scoring.
Yeah, and I think that's I mean if you look at the Ravens, they're certainly better on offense this year than they have been in the past. I think the passing game has gotten better. Joe Flacco's been having a better games overall. But they need a boost in the running game for sure, and things might have improved a little bit for them during the trade deadline. And I do think that they're just they need a better game plan overall than to rely on their defense. I think it's just something. I think you put it well in the sense that this is an adjustment period for teams that have dominant defenses, that they're going to need to figure out a way like, okay, we can only do so much on this side of the ball. We have to improve something on the offensive side as well, which is why you have Mitchell Trubisky running everywhere. Why you have these what works on offense and using it to the best of your ability to win these games. So yeah, I'm with you on that. All right. So now to rewinding everything. Did you have anything else to say on that matter? Are you good?
I'm good.
Okay. Let's move on to the news. A shocking It's shocking news that it was kind of coming, but we all of a sudden it just happened. And it was the big coaching firing of the day. That's where I'm talking about Cowboys offensive line coach Paul Alexander being fired and replaced by Mark Colombo. Go Cubs! How will this affect the offensive line for the Cowboys?
I mean, they're still gonna make holes for Zeke to run through, and then Dak to not throw the ball more than 10 yards.
Cool. All right. So next coaching news. The truly big news. Hugh Jackson has been fired as Cleveland head coach.
A career record with the Browns of 36-1. That is 8.8% of games won.
Yeah. Crazy. It's crazy.
Oof.
And Todd Haley was also fired, which is weird. But yeah, I was surprised. I wasn't surprised to see Hugh Jackson get fired. I was surprised to see Todd Haley get fired. And I think part of that was to get all the drama out of the building, because it was the two of them that have been butting heads. And I know you didn't watch Hard Knocks, but the early portions of the season, the first episode, you kind of got the sense that Jackson and Haley were not really seeing eye to eye. Like it was kind of obvious, and I think that's what kind of made the Browns Hard Knocks season kind of fun, was because they kind of were so honest about things.
Yeah.
But it was really obvious from the get-go that they were not on the same page, and it's come to a head now with both of them being escorted out of the building, essentially. So what does this mean for the Browns in the future? Would you like to comment a little bit on this front?
Well, right now they have a defensive the defensive coordinator took over as head coach. Interim head coach.
I have words on this, but you could continue.
Yes, who Chris clearly knows better than I do, and I will tread on that ground. But it's further indication that the Browns live in hell.
Yeah.
I think that Baker Mayfield will not end up like his first round predecessors.
Mm-hmm.
Or just his predecessors in general.
Yeah.
Because I feel like he understands the position he's in more so than they did. I don't know. I feel like he's going to be okay throughout all of this.
Double guess yourself. I think you're good. I think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Baker's going to be fine. They will hopefully find someone who will help out with that. Dorsey, right?
Yeah, John Dorsey.
John Dorsey now can get his own head coach.
Mm-hmm.
Get the head coach that he wants. One who will do to Baker what McVay did to Goff, what Nagy's doing to Trubisky. Hopefully.
Yeah. No.
The Browns aren't out of hell yet.
Yeah.
But there's a pathway out for them.
They're on like the top layer of hell, maybe.
They are in the first layer of hell. They are still experiencing it right now. I want to make that clear.
Yeah.
They're still in hell. They're not going to win many games going forward.
Yeah.
If any.
Yeah, I mean, I think that what's different about this team than maybe when the Browns got a new head coach, when Mike Patine got fired and Hugh Jackson was hired, which by the way, I think back to that day, I remember Hugh Jackson had one of the most passionate press conferences, or not, I shouldn't say passionate, but like, he had I'm always driven towards good personalities, and when you could show that you're not like a fucking robot talking to the press, like out of the gate, then you gain my attention. I felt the same way when Sean McVay was introduced himself as head coach, and I was just like, oh man, this guy, I feel like this guy is gonna do a good job, just because I feel like he shows that he knows the game so much. And then of course now we know what happened with that, but Hugh Jackson did it and he completely proved me wrong and was absolutely awful one of the worst coaches ever, if not the worst head coach to ever exist in the history of the NFL. But going towards the end of the year, though, I think people are like, well, this might hurt the development of Baker Mayfield. I'm like, well, I don't agree with that, because
it's still his rookie year.
It's his rookie year, and I think that
no one's good in their rookie year unless you're Deshaun Watson.
Right. Or you look at Jared Goff, for example. His head coach got fired not as early as this, but really late in the year, and he was not really, Jeff Fisher was not really doing Jared Goff any favors. And they were able to find someone in McVay, and then they were able to figure things out. I don't see why that could not be the possibility here. And Dorsey, he had such an outstanding career with the Chiefs. I just find it really hard to believe that he's not going to be able to figure things out with this team. He's a smart guy, he's not like the other experimental general managers that the dumbass Browns owner, who I still think is a dumbass, has hired in the past. Like, this guy's smart and he knows what he's doing, so I have faith. With that being said, Greg Williams, let me give you some history about Greg Williams. For those who don't know, or relatively new football fans, well, I go because you probably have heard of Bountygate, correct?
Bountygate? I don't think so.
So Bountygate was, I want to say it was around the 2010 season, something around there. Sean Payton and Greg Williams were both got suspended for the year, or at least Greg Williams, I think, got kicked out of the league for some time, and Sean Payton was suspended for a year because it was found out that Greg Williams was purposely going out of his way to tell his defenders to injure the shit out of quarterbacks, with basically saying things like, aim for the head and the body will die. Take it. The guy, he becomes human the minute you take out his other ACL. He said he had some horrendous quotes, and I believe what the whole thing with Bountygate was that if you injured a quarterback, then you'd get like a little pay raise in your on your thing. And I don't know how much Sean Payton had to do with this, but obviously as the head coach, you take responsibility, and so he was out for the year. And Greg Williams should not be in the league, but he is, and he's been the defensive coordinator with the Rams and then the Browns, and now he's back as a head coach in the league, and he's a character. I just do not think he has any right to have an existence in the NFL, and so it is. It's weird. I don't understand why the Browns went this direction. You could have probably gone with someone else that's on the staff. Anyone, literally anyone. Take the fucking dog mascot that was like walking around the offices and during Hard Knocks and just make him the head coach. It would be a better option to go Greg Williams. I mean, come on. Jesus Christ. Although, if Greg Williams wins more games than Hugh Jackson in this next span, I'm going to lose my fucking mind. I'm going to be like, what in the hell happened to you, Hugh? What happened? And then also with Todd Haley being fired, they replaced the offensive coordinator with Freddie Kitchens. So the Kitchens will teach the Baker, Kitchens
they did that on purpose.
I you know what, they most likely did. By the way, go take a step back for a second. With Greg Williams being the head coach now, he hired his son as defensive coordinator. Ain't that great?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's wonderful. But no, Freddie Kitchens has experience developing Carson Palmer, during his Cardinals days, and I wouldn't say it was the key reason, but it was it was among the reasons that Carson Palmer had a little bit of a renaissance with the Cardinals. Yeah. So it's something to think about. He hasn't really called plays though on like in the regular season games, so yeah, could be a disaster. I don't know. This might be a bad year for the Browns, but I'm not going to give up on them in the sense that I think that going forward into next year, I do think this Browns team has a lot of talent. They do have some holes still, but I like the Browns still. I'll still swear by them in some ways. But yeah. Anything else about the death and destruction of the Cleveland Browns?
Cleveland, the city of Cleveland, if you count the Cavaliers stuff, but we're not talking about basketball.
That's true. I forgot about the Cavaliers guy being fired.
Two head coaches fired from Cleveland in the same week.
Within a span of like 24 hours, really.
Yeah,
it's crazy. It's absolutely nuts. Yeah, Cleveland's a little bit of a dumpster fire right now, but that's not really much different from in the past. Yeah.
Than usual. Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever. In other news, Fitzmagic is back, baby.
Hell yeah.
He's gonna be starting on Sunday against the who do they play? Oh, Panthers. So that could mean the end of Jameis Winston as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback. Go Cubs. In a few words, how would you describe the tenure of Jameis Winston?
I'll try to do it in 3.
Okay.
Okay, I have 2 words.
Okay. Okay,
start with
0.5 words. No kidding.
No, I got 3.
Okay, 3.
Okay. First is insertion, and by that I mean that weird pregame speech he did where he like inserted the fingers in his mouth and went, "Look." That win.
Eat the W, man. Eat the W. Okay.
The next one is interception because he has thrown so many.
Tied for second, or no, is second. I don't think he's tied for second. He is second in the NFL.
And is second this season, and didn't play the first 3.5 games.
That's insane.
And then this is probably crossing the line, but I have to stick with the theme. If he keeps up this the legal trouble he's in, incarceration.
Oh man, yeah.
Bad off the field stuff.
I
followed him from his college days. Do better, dude.
Yeah.
Be a better person.
Yeah.
He's not in the NFL because you're fucking done.
Yeah, I mean, well, he's not going to be done in the NFL. He'll certainly get another chance, I think, but at least as a backup quarterback.
Right.
But I don't know. I remember when I was back in like 2015 and 2016 where he first came into the league. I was kind of hyped about him because I was like, oh, he's a good talent. And then I kind of like I read about his history at Florida State. The rape allegations and stuff, and then the other allegations that came to light about the Uber driver and stuff, and I was just like, I don't know, maybe I'm not so hype about this guy anymore.
Yeah.
And then like he had some great games, but then there was just times where he just completely fall apart. He kept on making throws that he shouldn't make, and as a quarterback, like, yes, it's fun to take risks and all, but it's not fun when you take that risk and it doesn't work out, and then when you continue to make risk and they continue not to work out, and that's what constantly happened in his tenure as the quarterback. And
yep,
it's a shame for the Buccaneers because they
wasted have fucking amazing receivers. Holy shit.
He had great receivers, at least
Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Deshaun Jackson, and you got no one throwing to them.
Right. Absolutely. I think I love the fact that they put Fitzpatrick back in. He's not going to be a quarterback of the future for this franchise, but he is going to be someone that's going to be a bridge potentially if you're going to draft another quarterback this year. He's going to be a guy that is going to make it's going to be fun to watch him. I mean, the fact that he had like 1.5 bad games, it was not a reason for him to be benched and put out of the way. I get that you wanted to put Jameis Winston back in because he has been your number 1 overall pick, but Ryan Fitzpatrick has been so much more fun to watch, and people are engaged when they watch it.
Not a bad person.
And he's not a bad person. He's in fact a very funny and very uplifting person.
Charismatic person.
You know, he's from Harvard, of course, and
Oh yes.
if we can't forget that. But no, I love that Fitzmagic's back on the field.
Yeah.
It makes the Tampa Bay Buccaneers games that much more fun to watch, and it makes me super excited to see them against the Panthers on Sunday. I think that's gonna be a fun game. I do think that the Panthers. I mean, well, we won't pick the game right now.
It's
do.
gonna be hard.
It's gonna be a tough win for tough out for the Panthers.
Yeah.
But I think that's what's gonna make this NFC South tough, and hopefully with the return of Fitzpatrick, my bold prediction comes back to light. Maybe we'll see.
Gotta hope the Falcons bomb. I think.
Yeah. But we'll see. They got a lot of road games, and they have not performed well on the road. And then of course, and speaking of fun, dazzling, exciting quarterbacks, think the opposite, as Nathan Peterman is back at quarterback for the Buffalo Bills, because Derek Anderson unfortunately is in the concussion protocol. So he
talk dirty to me.
It of course it makes Go Cubs want to touch his nipples because the Bears are playing. Because the Bears are
not on the podcast.
The Bears are. This is how I speak on a normal basis. The Bears are going to be the opponent of the Bills, so it should be fun for the Bears on Sunday. I just. That's going to be a hard one for me to be like, yeah, the Bears are going to have a tough time. No.
Look, the Bears, Khalil Mack and Allen Robinson both sat out the Jets game, and the Bears were fine.
Yeah.
The Jets were better than the Bills.
Yeah.
And they could rest those two again. I hope not, because I need Robinson for fantasy. But
right.
They would be fine and give their players another week to rest before 3 divisional matchups in a row.
Yeah. I do think the smart play would be to rest them because of the fact that they have a tough division stretch. But you don't want to risk losing to the Bills, though. So, you got to just make that decision. Also, I did include this on the rundown here, but there's a chance that Nick Mullins might start quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers on Thursday night. Because C.J. Beathard is dealing with a wrist injury. He's having trouble picking up the football, or at least throwing it. And so, it's gonna be a great battle between Derek Carr and Nick Mullins.
Yay.
Yeah. There you go. And before we get to our picks, of course, the bigger news of the day. Well, I mean, I think the biggest news of the week was the Cleveland Browns firing, but we got a lot of big trades to talk about because the trade deadline was about 4 or 5 hours ago from when we were filming this. And the first trade I want to talk about was a trade that happened last week after the podcast. And that was David Harrison. The Giants decided to give him up, and he's been in New York for a while. He's been with the Jets, he's been with the Giants, and now he has been sent away to the Lions where they needed someone to stop the run. And I thought this was a pretty good addition to that for them. This was an improvement on their defense, and it did help them on some goal line stands during the Seahawks Lions game. Of course, it didn't help them win the game, but he played very well. So that's going to be a good addition for the Lions moving forward. But we see how that worked out, and there was another trade that we'll talk about in just a second. But before that, we come to Tuesday, and Demaryius Thomas, who has been rumored to be on the trading block, is now a Houston Texan. He has been traded there. The legendary Denver Bronco is now going to go to Houston to be probably the number 2 wide receiver to DeAndre Hopkins. It's going to be a huge help to Deshaun Watson moving forward. Go Cubs. Fantasy implications of this for both the Texans and the Broncos.
Texans, it's not going to change the players much. I think that Demaryius Thomas will have a similar outcome / role to what he had in Denver. Hopkins is going to be the same. Hopkins might actually get a little bit more use, especially down the field, because he's definitely faster than Thomas is.
For sure.
So that speed will help him get down the field the more. So I think it also adds a receiver to make it sure that that Hopkins isn't like doubled or triple teamed.
And Kiki Kuti as well. I mean, he's injured right now, but he's going to be a factor for them. I think, at least when it comes to speedy wide receivers.
Right, and once he comes back, I think the Texans will be in good shape in that end. The biggest, I think the biggest impact is going to be on Cortland Sutton on the Broncos, who is going to get the chance to shine. He is a fantastic wide receiver. I just traded him away in my dynasty league, but that's okay. I got LaShawn
I forgot about that. I was like, oh man, you gotta be pumped that Cortland Sutton.
Yeah, no, I traded him from LaShawn McCoy. Look, it was one of 4 rookie wide receivers that I had.
Yeah.
And I need running back help, dude.
Yeah, no, it's understandable. It's all good.
So I traded him away, got LaShawn McCoy with some draft pick trades as well. And I'm happy with it.
Yeah, for sure.
But I hope if he's one of those people though that like, especially in 12-team leagues, 12-team not very deep bench leagues,
right.
He's definitely going to be someone who's probably on the waiver wire, so he's definitely someone to look into.
Yeah, I'm excited for the revenge game on Sunday, because Demaryius Thomas is go right from playing in Denver to playing in Denver, but for the other sideline.
That's right.
So Demaryius Thomas is going to be it's going to be a big game. Denver is already planning to have kind of like honoring him during the game, which will be kind of awkward, but understandable. Right. He's been a huge impact for that team. Was big on their Super Bowl run back in 2015.
Of course.
He's been a big part, so it's understandable completely why it's it was probably hard to part from him, but I think it was the best for them moving forward, especially with such a young talent.
It was necessary for them.
Yeah, and then in other wide receiver trade news, Golden Tate. I was not expecting this. Tate,
not at all.
From the Lions, was traded to the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know. What's your thoughts on this? I'm curious.
This was the most surprising trade. No. Yeah.
Okay. Anyways,
yeah.
Why do you think that?
Because he's just one of those. He's one of those players that I automatically associate with a team.
Yeah.
Like there's some players out there that like I know they've been on a few teams. I know them as the player. I don't necessarily attach them to a specific team.
Right.
Golden Tate is the Lions for me. Like that's just I've always associated with them. I thought he was going to like be there forever. But with the Lions clearly giving up on the season.
That's the big thing for me. But go ahead, continue.
Yeah, clearly giving up on the season, and Carson Wentz needing getting some more weapons to pass to try to salvage their middle of the road season right now. It's going to be it'll be helpful really good for the Eagles going forward. I don't think the Lions are hurting too much because Marvin Jones and Kenny Golladay are still fantastic receivers.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Fantasy wise, both of them are going to see uptakes. Kenny Golladay is gonna, I think, reap the most benefits from this.
Yeah.
So that's that fantasy outlook. I don't think the Eagles roster is going to change that much.
Yeah,
in terms of fantasy points.
I do think that Tate is going to be targeted more than maybe Aguilar.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, Aguilar keeps dropping stuff.
Yeah. So I think that's really the main reason why they made the move that they did. For the Eagles, I think they were like, well, we're just not getting the production that we need out of the wide receivers. So let's just go out. The Eagles are always in the mix when it comes to trades, and it doesn't surprise me that this time they were in the mix. And to get Golden Tate, who I think has been one of the best wide receiver ones this year. That's the first number one wide receiver on their team. That's a big victory for the Eagles, and for the Lions. I don't get it. you just went all in with Damian Harrison to get him to improve the team, and then after one game, you're like, well, time to throw in the fucking towel. It's weird to me. I mean, they may not be throwing in the towel, but to give away your number one wide receiver, that's a big deal, you know. And like you said, Golden Tate, obviously he had his years with the Seahawks, and before he had his times with the Lions. But yeah, when I really started watching football, he was always a Lion, or he was most of the time he was a Lion, and so I it's gonna be weird for me to see him in the Philly green, but I think it's gonna be better for the Eagles, and it's gonna. I think even though the Lions have a good wide receiver depth, it's gonna hurt them moving forward. But
Yeah.
he was also going to be a free agent in March, so I guess it's not the worst thing in the world that they got the pick that they did, that they would have gotten like compensatory picks now rather than later. Now, next trade after that was we talked about Ty Montgomery earlier. Well, the Packers were sick of him. They basically gave him away to the Baltimore Ravens.
They decided, man, you fucked up. Don't want to listen to us. Threw a tantrum. You gone.
And is there a how will this affect the Ravens running back room? Do you think in the fantasy world?
I don't know. Both of them are like have their moments. Alex Collins having more moments than Buck Allen. The fantasy community calls him Suck Allen, if that gives you an idea on how well he does fantasy wise.
Yeah.
So I think that, I don't know. I think Collins and Montgomery are gonna be the two for the Ravens, but like I don't know. It's gonna be murky for them.
Yeah, I feel like Collins, he's had a down year after a pretty solid end of the 2017 season. But if he could get back to like really running between the tackles as much like and like just being that power back that he was, and Montgomery, who is going to be the catch back, the guy who catches out of the backfield, or just acts as a wide receiver because he's a mix of both. I think that I think he'll certainly be an impact for the Ravens. It's definitely going to make them a little bit more exciting on the back end. I still think that they need to overcome a little bit with the running game, but it's an improvement, and that's what matters. And they got it. And again, they got him for virtually nothing. They had to give up a 2020 7th round pick, like the least amount of compensation possible. So they're good. They're in good shape. So I can respect the trade by the Packers, especially if he's so pissed off at them. Next up, the Jacksonville Jaguars said goodbye to their number 3 overall pick from 2015. My God, that fucking draft is bad. Dante Fowler is now a Los Angeles Ram. Ooh, boy. This will certainly affect the pass rush for the Rams. And I mean, he's not had a great career to this point. He's had off the field issues. But he's shined quite a few times. He's made impact plays. Certainly last year during the Jaguars' run to the AFC Championship game, and so that I do think that's going to be an impact for them, for the Rams, with the line that also includes 3 other first-round picks in Aaron Donald, Ndamukong Suh, and Michael Brockers. That's a tough line. It a little bit reminds me of the Giants' defensive line in 2015 or 2016 rather, when it was like 4 guys that like were playing at a pretty high level all at once. It was pretty good. So it could end up being that way for the Jaguars. You never know. And then last but not least, Clinton Dix. This was the most surprising to me. Well, I mean, Tate was the most surprising, but this is gonna be the weirdest one to like adjust to them being in a different uniform. Clinton Dix has been traded to the Redskins, and he will now pair with DJ Swearinger, and the two of them will who probably be one of the top safety tandems in the league. This Redskins team immediately gets better in the secondary. Well, I don't know. What do you think the Packers are fucking doing with this move?
I have no fucking idea, dude. I Yeah, like I don't think he's been playing badly. Definitely not the maybe the level he has been, or like what they might have needed him to be doing, but that's true with most of the Packers team this season.
Yeah.
Outside of Rodgers and his wide receivers. So I think this move really benefits Washington, a team that is looking to make a playoff push.
Yeah.
So good on them for going out and getting the help that they needed.
Yeah, I was surprised by it, and it makes you think about the Packers, and if they're just giving away talent for picks, but and I get that Clinton Dix hasn't been like the Pro Bowl guy in the last few years, but I still think he's an impact player. And to give him away, I don't know. Like it's just weird to me that it keeps on feeling like the Packers want to punt on another chance to get Aaron Rodgers to the Super Bowl. And it's just the older he gets. I mean, I don't know when you're gonna have another opportunity to do so. It's you're running out of options here. And it was certainly a mark against Ted Thompson as the general manager, the old general manager of the Packers. Who was fired or went into a different role, quote unquote, in the Packers organization. He drafted Clinton Dix, and now that never panned out into like a championship or anything for them. All right, I think that covers the trades.
Yeah.
And now we'll get to the picks. The picks at record as it stands right now. 69-50 for both of us.
Hey, nice.
Yeah, I wish it was 69 42. It's
yeah.
Like 69 420, whatever.
Right.
It's all good. But yeah, it's we are currently standing both of us are standing in pretty good shape pick wise. Right now you have the edge of the points, 19-17. You took the edge this week because of the games we deferred on. Well, I got the Cardinals correct. Did not get the Panthers or the Saints correct. So
yes.
The NFC South fucked me in the ass this week.
Yeah.
But it was you had a 10-4 week. I had a 9-5 week. Pretty good overall. And update on the not really any major updates on the pick standings that they stand right now, although I will say this, close behind for both of us right now. For me, 7-1 in terms of picks, the 49ers. 7-1 in terms of picks for you, the Colts.
Really?
Yeah, you are doing very, very well on that front. And that's behind, of course, the 8-0 Rams. Also, you lost your first Seattle pick this week.
That's right.
6-1, unfortunately.
That's okay.
But that is okie dokie. We both are still standing at 8-0 with the Rams. All right, let us do our picks now. And we'll start with this glorious, wonderful, absolutely outstanding Thursday Night Football game between the Raiders and the Niners. It is, we're going to be talking all week about Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady, but what about Derek Carr versus Nick Mullins? Go Cubs!
Yeah, this was the last game I picked. Before we started, because they're both awful, and I want to pick. I like the Raiders are one of those teams that I want to pick against every opportunity I get this year. I can't do it. I can't like do that when I don't even remember what you just said it. I don't remember the 49ers quarterback's name. So I'm gonna go with the Raiders.
Yeah, it would be a very difficult pick if CJ Beathard was starting. Because I think despite everything, he hasn't had an awful year. But it's Nick Mullins. I have no idea what he'll do. I mean, he'll knowing this, he'll might like light it up and he'll become the next fucking Patrick Mahomes. But
Right.
I doubt that right now. I'll go with the Raiders, who have the established quarterback at least at this point. At least in comparison. So that is that. Next up, the Steelers, coming off their win against the Browns, will be taking on the Baltimore Ravens. Big ol' divisional matchup. One of the great divisional rivalries in the league right now. Will the Steelers get their revenge against the Ravens?
I don't think so. Ravens are going to bounce back from their pouncing of the Panthers, or the pouncing they received, rather.
Yes.
And win at home.
Yeah, I feel good about the Ravens still. I think that they played against two tough teams. It shows how good the NFC South is. But I think the Ravens are going to come back into this division and go up against the Steelers team that has still not quite proved it to me that they're back. You know, I think that the Ravens will show them who's boss right now. So I'm going to go Ravens as well. Next up, the Bears, coming off a nice win, a little rebound after a tough stretch for them. They are now going to Buffalo to take on the Buffalo Bills. As we said earlier, Nathan Peterman is back. Go Cubs. Is it?
I was surprised for the first half with how well the Bills were playing against the Patriots.
Yeah.
But man, Nathan Peterman, dude. Like, I can't even make a case for Buffalo, like, in this case.
Yeah.
Bears.
Yeah. Pro Football Talk, Mike Florio. I don't know if it was Mike Florio tweeting this out or if it was someone else on the part of their staff or not. But they're like, starting Nathan Peterman is like hoping that is like wanting your dog to drive the car. It may really, really want to, but it just can't.
No.
And so that
this dude, in his first career start, threw 5 interceptions and a half.
And has since has continued his interception ways.
Yep.
The Bears haven't been too interception heavy this year, but they may have a few in this game. It would be very surprising to me if the Bears lose this. It'll be a very upsetting Monday, the day after, if that was the case. But I'll go with Bears. Next up, the NFC South matchup. The Buccaneers taking on the Panthers. Should be fun with Ryan Fitzpatrick back in the lineup with the Bucs. Panthers looking to keep up with the Saints. What do you think is going to happen in this one?
Fitzmagic is going to make this interesting, but I would like to point out the user consensus on NFL Pick'em, and I usually don't bring this up, but it seems apt to point out here, is 92% in favor of Carolina.
Yeah,
and this home domination is going to continue for the Cats.
Mm-hmm.
I think that even if Fitzmagic has one of his magic games, the like not really magic but actually good Panthers offense is gonna tear through the Bucs defense. So Panthers, no question.
Few arguments in favor of the Bucs, like despite other than of course Fitzmagic, their pass defense has been awful for the Bucs, and that's really why the defense has been looking as bad as it has been. With that being said, the pass rush for the Bucs, or at least the rushing defense for the Buccaneers, has been very good this year, or at least has improved greatly since they fired their defensive coordinator. So that's something to keep an eye on. And of course, they do still have a great set of wide receivers. But the Panthers, I've said before that this is a team I need to invest more in. They're an all-around pretty great team, and I'm gonna go with Carolina. I think they'll take care of business, like you said, at home as they have been doing. Next up, the Kansas City Chiefs will be visiting their old general manager John Dorsey at his new headquarters in Cleveland, as the Browns will play their first game without Hugh Jackson since 2015 or 2015. That's correct. And instead, will Greg Bounty Williams beat the Chiefs?
No.
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 No, just no.
No.
Yeah, I'm going. So we're both going Chiefs on this one.
Yeah.
I will say this. I am extremely curious how this team will play under Greg Williams. It will be one of the most intriguing things about Sunday to me. Where I don't know, it could be an absolute disaster, and they get like put up like 50 points, like it's like 51-14 by the time the game ends, or whatever. But I'm curious as to see how close the Browns play, because they have done close games generally. So we'll see how it goes. The Dolphins will be hosting the Jets, and it will be the second game of this series for this season. The Dolphins won the first matchup. What do you think's gonna happen in the second?
Man, I don't know. This was one of those hard ones to pick, but I think the Jets have so little of a rhythm going on, especially offensively, that the Dolphins, with a slight home advantage, are gonna somehow still float above 500.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ. I don't know how this Dolphins team keeps on doing it, but they are. I do think that after this Sunday that they're going to be above 500, and I believe so much in that I'm guareeing it. I guarantee the fucking Dolphins. Because of course that's happened.
Yeah.
So there you go.
My guarantee's less exciting, but
fair enough. Next up, the Minnesota Vikings will be hosting the Detroit Lions. And of course, the Lions just gave away Golden Tate, and with their newly acquired David Harrison after playing one game with him, now go to Detroit to take on this Vikings team that's coming off of a kind of pretty difficult loss overall. What do you think's going to happen in this one?
I think the Vikings need to let out some aggression and actually win a fucking game. So I'm gonna go with the Vikings. I think that the better team in the matchup.
I think so too. I gotta go Vikings, and yeah, I'm not like again. We said that the Lions have been getting better, but it's just weird to me that after one kind of rough game against the Seahawks team that's on the rise, that they kind of were just like, welp, time to sell the baby. Like it's like like they one like just terrible mistake, just it made them want to sell their number one wide receiver. It was their firstborn, right?
Their firstborn wide receiver.
Yeah, so I'm going with the Vikings on this one. I feel confident about them at home. They need to win. They need to win badly.
Yeah.
Next up, the Washington Redskins. I just thought of like, what if they were called Washington Redscones? That would be better.
Interesting.
Like just they're like scones, like food.
Yeah. No, I understand.
It's better.
It is. In a ton of ways.
The Washington Redskins will be playing against the Atlanta Falcons in this. This game's kind of exciting. You got a Falcons team that's looking to find, that's looking to get its offense going on the road. While the Redskins, they're looking good on defense, and Adrian Peterson's doing well for them on offense. What do you got in this one? Go Coups.
We're overdue for something weird. And by that I mean Alex Smith is overdue for something weird. And I'm going to say that the Falcons pull off the road upset in this case, Team Chaos.
Ooh, I like it. I like the Team Chaos in this one. I'm gonna stick with the Redskins just because that they've been a good, relatively good team especially at home. I think they're very tough to beat. I think they're actually undefeated at home, brother. I don't know. Regardless, they've been playing well. I think that the addition of HaHa Clan Dix is gonna help in a lot of ways as well. But I think the Falcons they got proof they are. I think they still have the talent to really beat anyone in this league. It's tough with the defensive injuries, hence why I want to avoid them. But yeah, interesting pick. I will next up the Texans at the Broncos, the Demaryius Thomas revenge game. Who knew that he would be playing on the Texans? Like literally the minute the Broncos Chiefs game was over. And so now it's a big game for the Texans as they continue to try to keep their 5-game winning streak going. Will it extend to a 6th win?
I say yes. Not only that, I'm going to guarantee that this 6-game win streak.
I like both of these picks that you have there going.
Thank you.
I would have guaranteed this. I worry about a road team in Denver. It's tough for me, but I'm going with the Texans as well. I like it very much. I think that it's arguable right now that the Texans could be a top 4 AFC team, arguably.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that's out of the question right now. They're playing that well.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, the Los Angeles Chargers are going to be heading to the Seattle Seahawks to take on a Seahawks team that's on the rise, but the Chargers are looking to keep pace with the Chiefs. What will this West battle bring, Go Cubs?
This is harder for me than I think it should have been. But I decided to go with the Chargers. Their offense is really good, and don't know if Seahawks will be able to stop it even at home.
Yeah, I'm going with Chargers too, man. I still like the team. I don't know. I haven't heard any word about this yet, but Joey Bosa should start this week.
Oh yeah, this week.
I think they said that he would come back during the bye. I mean, it might not be the case. It might be still a week. But if that's the case, that's immediately gonna help that defense out. And boy, has Phillip Rivers had a good year. I have faith in them still. I like the Seahawks. I think that they're getting better, but this is a tough game for them to win, so I'm going Chargers. All right, game of the week: the Los Angeles Rams gonna be heading. They're the best team in the NFC. Will be visiting the second best team in the NFC, in the New Orleans Saints, in a game that might determine home field advantage when it's all said and done. What is gonna happen in this game?
So how many picks right am I with the Rams?
You are undefeated.
Undefeated with the Rams.
Correct.
And the Rams are also an undefeated team.
Yes.
After this week, I will be undefeated with the Rams picks, but the Rams will no longer be undefeated. Upset in NOLA.
Going with the Saints. Going Saints. Yeah, I really, really wanted to go with the Saints in this game, and so I'm going to. And I'm putting this as my Team Chaos.
Okay, all right.
So you have 2 upsets in your picks, so you had to pick one of them to be Team Chaos. It's good that you deferred from me on this one. I look, and it's nothing against the Rams because I do think they're an absolutely outstanding team. They're going to have a deep playoff push. They could very well be the Super Bowl favorites and champions. But this is going to be the first really tough test. You have to go to New Orleans. You have to play in the Dome with Drew Brees and how good this team is playing right now. It is going to be a very tough match. I like the Saints a lot in this game. So let us move forward from that. The big quarterback duel between Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. Maybe the last time we'll ever see these two battle it out because I don't see the Packers making the Super Bowl anytime soon, unfortunately.
And this is their only second time ever meeting, correct?
I think so. I believe so. I think the first time they met was 4 years ago in Green Bay. Before that, I think Aaron Rodgers was injured, and so he did not play in that game. And I don't know if there was a time before that they could have played against each other. But that's surreal, considering how much these two are talked about at the top of the chain of quarterbacks to have only met once and only going to be meeting for the second time. It's kind of incredible. But who's going to win in this one?
Man, dude, I don't feel like I have to say it, but behind the juggernauts of quarterbacks, there are other players on the team. And I think the Patriots just have more to them.
Yeah.
There's more to the Patriots than there is the Packers. I might root for the Packers in this game.
The cough says it all.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm probably not gonna like watching this game.
That's fair. I am super pumped about this game. And I'm gonna go with the Patriots. It's an easy pick for me, Patriots. But I think that if this is going to be the last meeting between these two guys, please give us a game to remember. That's all I care about.
Two number 12s. Just give them something.
Yeah.
Something good.
It will be like if it's an incredible game, like it will be awesome. This is really like I'm gonna ignore Titans Cowboys right now because honestly, if you look at this football weekend, if you're not just talking NFL, 4 ranked matchups in college football, one being a number 1 versus number 3 game between Bama and LSU, and you have the best 2 teams in the NFC battling out against each other, the 2 best quarterbacks of all time playing against each other, and Ryan Fitzpatrick back. Everything about the football right now is magical. It's just gonna be a great weekend. I'm very excited about it. And of course it finishes off with Titans and Cowboys, so can't all be winners.
Yep.
Well, so the Titans and Cowboys, they're both coming off of byes, and the Titans, of course, started to hit a dud near the end of their near the end of their first half, I guess, of the year with the leading into the bye, and the Cowboys, they traded for Amari Cooper, in their during their bye, and will be interesting to see how this game plays out, how the buys may have affected them, and how Amari Cooper impacts this game. What do you think is going to happen in this one? Go Cubs.
This is one of those that I am also very unsure about because both teams have a tendency to sometimes suck and sometimes not suck.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to lean Tennessee.
You gotta go Titans.
I think, and I don't wish bad things on people. I think Amari Cooper is gonna bomb this game. He's going to be targeted so much, but he's going to drop things, fumble things. I don't know. I don't trust it.
Yeah. I think about this game, and I'm like, I have no idea who I have confidence in anymore in this one. I my guess is that the one thing that has been pretty consistent with the Cowboys is that their home dominance has been great, and that their defense has been great. I look at the Titans, and their defense has played well, but they hasn't been amazing. Their offense has not been that great this year, and needs to get better. I think I have more invested in the Cowboys in this matchup. I don't know about Amari Cooper. I don't really know how much he's going to impact this matchup. I look at what's going to be more of what has helped the Cowboys win more games this year, and that's been their defense. So I'm going to go with them on that one. So with that deferring at the end there, we are now 2 games. We have 2 games that we have deferred on overall, which is
impressive.
Yeah.
And one of them is my Team Chaos, and one of them is a regular one.
Yes. Yeah.
So, someone could take the lead.
Yeah. We'll see how it plays out. Yeah. Well. Yeah. And it's gonna. I'm looking forward to this weekend. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun games. I think that overall we've had an easy time picking this week in general, but
yeah.
I feel like when that happens, bad things tend to happen. Chaotic things tend to happen. So we will see how it all plays out. But yeah, I am looking forward to seeing how this all unfolds. Next week, yes, we did promise that we would do our mid-season stuff this week, but with all the trades and news and all the chaos, we decided we're gonna push that off till next week.
Plus, not every team has played half of their games yet.
Right. That was also a big part of it.
Yeah.
So
as soon as that happens, we will have our prediction.
Yeah, we're gonna do we'll do mid-season playoff and Super Bowl predictions, and we'll do maybe 3 bold predictions in the mix there. And we'll do some award predictions as well. So we have a lot of stuff planned after the week 9 plus slate plays its way through. And I have to see, next week's gonna be a little bit hectic, especially on Tuesday, when we usually record the podcast. So we'll see if maybe we record on Wednesday, it'll go up on Thursday. We'll see what works out for us during next week. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching. I greatly appreciate you watching. Go Cubs, and thank you for joining again.
Of course, I gave my fantasy stuff already during the trades.
Yeah, that's why I figured.
Yeah.
But thank you for pointing it out, though, because I would have forgotten it again.
Yep.
And we will see you guys in the next episode.